Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Lehman from Math with Mrs. Lehman. Good afternoon. Before I get started on review session 8, I would like to give a big shout out to all the kids on my team and all the kids in my school district that really did a great job today. I couldn't have been more proud from what I saw. Kids were working very hard and doing their absolute best. So, nice job. Seriously, you should be proud of yourselves. All right, so this first question we have here, I already underlined some of the keywords. It says a bookstore is selling books for $10 each. So that means that if you buy one book, it's going to be $10. If you buy 2 books, you're going to be paying a total of 20, etc. So it's going to go up in increments of 10 for each book you buy. It says which graph shows the relationship between the number of books, X, the store sold, and the total amount of money, Y, paid from the book sales. So if you look at the number of books, or the x-axis I should say, they all have the number of books sold, okay? So that on all of these, actually on the A and B, you'll notice that the scale that they used for the x-axis is increasing by 1, right? They're using a scale of 1. Versus down here on C and D, they're saying if you buy 10 books, 20 books, 30 books, 40 books, 50 books, okay? So you've really got to pay attention there. So we're going to also look at the y-axis, and it says total amount paid in dollars. So here on this choice C, it's saying that it's going up in increments of $1 per book, right? So we've got to be really careful about this, because this is a really easy question, one you don't want to miss for something as silly as you didn't read the x and y axis labels. So, okay, so let's just kind of look at these and see if any of these make sense. So this first graph A that I'm looking at says right here, one book would be $1. Well, we read in the problem that each book is going to be $10, so that does not make sense. All right. On B here, one book, it shows the price. If you look right here, it shows the price of 10 bucks, right? 2 books, $20, so on and so forth. So as you can see here, it's jumping up by $10 as we increase the books. It's a very direct relationship, obviously. So the correct answer is choice B. Let's analyze why these other ones are wrong. As I said before, you know, the number of books, if we buy 10 books, it's not going to cost $1. All right, so again, pay very close attention to what these labels say, because that's going to get a lot of kids just by not paying attention. All right, so pretty easy question. Let's move on to the next one. Whoops, that jumped ahead too. All right, it says the ratio of students to adults on a field trip is 8-to-1. So one thing that we talk about when we're talking about ratios is how the order of those ratios is so important. So in this case, it says students to adults. So that means the first number goes with students and the second number goes with adults. So we know it's 8 adults for every 1. Oh, I'm sorry, I said that backwards. Just checking to make sure you're paying attention. Classic teacher excuse. All right, so 8 students for every 1 adult. Okay, so 8 students for every 1 adult. So we are looking for the ratio table that's going to consistently show it's going to simplify to 8-to-1, okay? So when we look at this, you're going to be doing some essentially simplifying of fractions. You're going to see, does it simplify down to 8-to-1? So, and it's students to adults. So we know, obviously, there is a whole bunch more students than adults. We know if we take our number of students to get to adults, we're dividing by 8. Or you can look at it the other way and say, there are 8 times as many students as there are adults. So essentially, if we're looking from students to adults, we're dividing by 8. So that adult number should be smaller than the student number. So choice B cannot be our option, because when you look at this, you know, 96 divided by 8 does not equal 104. And that's just kind of common sense. So, you know, that's an easy one to eliminate. Each time you eliminate a problem, you've got a 25%, or I'm sorry, a choice, you have a 25% better chance of getting that question right. So let's look at this next one. It says number of students is 96, number of adults is 88. Now, I'm just kind of looking at this and doing some rounding here, and you know, I'm looking at number of students 96 to 88 adults. That would not simplify down to 8 to 1. The mistake that they're kind of hoping you'll make on this one is you're taking the number of adults and adding 8 students to that number. Well, that's not what is happening. When we look at these ratios, we're looking at what can I multiply or divide by to get from one number to the other. So choice A does not work because, again, that's for a kid who thought, oh, there's 8 more kids than adults, but let's keep looking. All right, so we've got choice C here. It says 96 to 12. So again, if this is going to simplify down to an 8 to 1 ratio consistently, then that's our option. Let's see, so 86, I'm going to scroll this up because the smart board does not like it when I write at the bottom. All right, so 96 divided by 12. So when you divide that, you are going to get 8 to 1, all right? So it's gotta work for all of these. So 120 to 15 adults, all right? If you simplify that, well, what is 15 times 8? Well, 8 times 5 is 40, and 8 times 1 is 8, plus 4 is 120, so that one works, all right? So that one, choice C is looking pretty good. All right, let's see on this next one. I'm not quite sure what mistake they're hoping kids make here. You'll notice the numbers are awfully close to choice C. C actually is the right answer. But usually they try to pick out a common mistake that kids are making. So I'm not quite sure what they are expecting kids to do to get that answer, but you know, choice C is the correct one because all of these ratios right here, students to adults, if you were to write 96 to 12 like a fraction, that simplifies to 8 to 1, right? If we're to look at this next one, 120 to 15, that simplifies down to 8 to 1. And then if you were to look at 136 to 17, 136 divided by 17 equals 8 to 1. So all of those work. 96 to 11 does not simplify down to that. So anywho, let's move on to the next one. This does not want to erase, not that it really matters, because I'm just going to go to the next screen. Okay, it says, which phrase is a description of 2m plus 7? So we know we have a coefficient here. That 2 in front of the variable means the 2 and the m are being multiplied. A lot of times when we see a number multiplied by 2, well, in algebra it may say twice the number m or double the number m, but they actually didn't do that. So we are looking for 2 times m. So when you look at choice A, it says 7 more than 2 times m. That's a key piece, right? And this says in choice B, 2 more than 7 times m. We don't want that. It's not 7 times m. And it says in this one, the sum of 2 and m. 2 and m are being multiplied, and sum indicates addition, so that's not our correct answer. So let's really analyze choices A and C. So choice C says 2 times the sum of 7 and m. So the sum of 7 and m would look like this, all right? And then we're doubling or taking that quantity and multiplying it by 2. That is not what we're looking for because we are not doubling the 7. We're only doubling the m. The correct answer here is choice A. And when you see more than or less than, it's a flip-flop phrase we call it here. So that means even though it says 2 times m here, last, we're actually going to put the 7 more at the end of that. A lot of kids get hung up on this when it says less than. They try to subtract. They write that down, for example, if it said 7 less than 2 times m, they would write 7 minus 2m instead of 2m minus 7, which it should be, you know. So anyway, 2m plus 7 is the correct answer. And when you see more than, less than, it indicates to flip the order of those two terms. Alright, and the last one, if I don't flip by it. Alright, George has $23 to spend on art supplies. He wants to buy markers, papers, and glue. If the total cost of the markers and paper is more than $14, which inequality represents the dollar amount P that George can spend on glue? So we know that he has 23 total to spend, right? So he's got 23 bucks and he wants to spend more than $14. So when you subtract these two, you're going to get 9, right? So the correct answer here is either going to be A or B, okay? Because that means that's what he would have left for the glue, right? So 9-ish. But he's spending more than $14, all right? So if he's spending more than $14, that's going to give him less money in his budget for the glue. So we're actually looking for an amount of money that is less than 9. So the glue price has to be less than $9 for this to potentially work. All right, so anyway, I'm going to pause the video while I come up with a challenge question. Okay, so your challenge question for today is, what is the name of, this is a net, so what is the name of the three-dimensional solid that this net would form? If we were to fold this up, what would it form? All right, so I'm looking for you to name the base, obviously, and whether it's a pyramid or a prism. So anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out the other review session videos to give yourself a heads up on the types of questions you'll be seeing in about a month. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You guys have a great